Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Double Refund. I recently purchased a rather lovely reclining sofa from a large furniture warehouse type company. We'll call them Sleepy Country. The sofa was on sale, marked down from about $5,000 to around $3,100. I'd been searching for a few days online until I found this one, and I decided to purchase it without seeing it in person. The sofa was delivered, set up, and everything was great. This should be the end of the story. Except, 2 days later, I received a promotional email from Sleeping Country, saying they had a once-a-year sale happening for the next 5 days. I checked the same sofa on their site, and sure enough, it was an additional $500 off. Sleeping Country is known for decent customer service, so I tried texting the helpline. The agent there, while initially kind, became irate when I brought up the price match issue. "Hello, is this regarding a Sleeping Country purchase?" "Yes, it is. You have 5 days from the day of delivery to receive a full refund. I'm actually hoping to price match per your guarantee. I purchased this from you just 2 days ago, and it's gotten down in price at the same store. Our once-a-year sale doesn't apply to prior purchases. Here are the terms. Q. Malicious compliance. I'm within 5 days of receiving my item, so I can return it for a full refund. If I can't get the price match, I'm just going to request a return, and then just purchase the same item again at a lower price." Radio silence. Next, I call. I clearly was talking with the same person because they sounded like they had been made well aware of the issue. "Well, you're going to have to pay to have it returned to the store if you want to proceed with the return for a refund. That is fine. It will still be cheaper than $500. Let's go ahead and get that scheduled, please." Clearly annoyed, the agent transfers me directly to the store to deal with the return. "Hi there, thank you for calling Sleepy Country. How may I help you?" I filled a cool store manager in on the entire situation. Wow, it doesn't make sense to do that. "Since it is so close to the date you purchased it, let's go ahead and process the price match." "Great, thank you. I appreciate your great customer service. The manager has trouble processing the refund because they rarely receive refunds on wrap orders. They put the refund directly on my card instead. But this is still not the end of the story. A week later, I saw another refund on my card for the same amount of over $500. I thought it would drop off, but it stayed on for some time. Having somewhat of a conscience, I called the manager to tell him what had happened. "So, I talked with you the other week. I received a second refund for the same amount." "So you didn't receive a refund?" "No, I received 2 refunds." "Hold on just a second." He pulls up my record. "Yeah, I don't think there's anything differently I would have done here. So, if it's okay with you, I think we can just leave it as it is." "Alright, that's fine with me. Thank you." The next story is called Doing It Right. Many years ago, I got a temp job at a local soap shop. You know, the fancy kind, where it's £5 for a bar of handmade soap. The manager didn't like me. I did things thoroughly and methodically, not quickly and good enough for now. I also have a very good memory, and I remember things people say and do, especially if those things don't add up. The manager would exaggerate things that made her look good, and conveniently forget things that didn't go her way. I thought she had made a genuine mistake, so I corrected her once and she never forgave me. It was time for the monthly deep clean, and I was tasked with doing the stairs. The shop had a metal spiral staircase that led up to the storeroom, and we had to go up and down there with massive jugs of warm water so customers could try the products. Given the nature of the product, there were also soap flakes everywhere, and they got stuck to this high traffic area. There was about a quarter of a centimeter of soap caked onto each step. The manager explained in front of most of the staff how important this job was and that it had to be done right. People could get hurt, you see, and you don't want that, do you? She spent more time than necessary making it very clear that if someone got hurt, then I would be to blame. It was also the most isolating and tedious job. It was obvious that this was revenge for my humiliating the manager. Fine. I went into my little world and started scraping. She wanted all the soap gone. I would remove every scrap of soap. Half an hour later, I had done a couple of steps, and I was told that I was being too slow. She suggested that not all of the soap needed to be removed, only enough to make it less slippery. I replied that, no, I was doing it properly. The soap on the second layer is just as slippery as the soap on the top layer. So if this was a safety concern, then obviously I needed to remove all the soap. I reminded her that she didn't want anyone to get hurt. The manager continued to criticize me for another half an hour, until she had no choice but to swap me with someone else. She had publicly made a big deal of how important the job was, so now she couldn't backtrack and leave it. A few days later, she spilled a full basin of water down the stairs. The 4 steps I had cleaned were safe to walk on. All the steps she had assigned to someone else, another 6 or so, were slippery as heck, and she slid down the stairs on her back. She was off work for several weeks, and when she came back she tried to blame me for not doing the job properly. I reminded her that she slipped on the stairs which were cleaned by someone else and that I was pulled off the task for being too thorough. Fortunately, it was a temp job and I moved on after a couple of months. She still works there, and I've noticed that none of the other staff lasts more than a year or 2. The last story is called No Reservations. We, my aunt and uncle, cousin and dad were on a long sightseeing ferry ride. It was a 2-hour ride with 1 stop in the middle. We were the first to get on the ferry, so all of us blocked the window seats in a straight line. It's public transport and there's no concept of reservation. It's first come first serve. We were sitting in the air-conditioned cabin and had the option of going out on the main deck. Just as we stopped in the middle, my dad went out on the main deck to take some pictures and enjoy the fresh air. Another man gets on the ferry at the stop and takes my dad's window seat, though there were a few other window seats left. My aunt and I told him a number of times, quite politely, that someone is sitting there, but he only said, "I speak French," and proceeded not to hear us. My dad came back and told him he was sitting there, and this man called the security and complained about my dad. The security told my dad, "Sir, this is public transport, seats cannot be reserved." My dad said alright and sat down next to him. So the scene right now is window, man, my dad, empty seat, aisle. About 10 minutes later, the man was about to step out on the deck. He left his bag on the seat and got up to leave. My dad asked him to kindly remove his bag. He refused. So my dad refused to get up and moved to let him out. My dad said, "You can't reserve seats. You showed me the rule. Kindly follow it yourself." He became very flustered and started clapping his hands and calling for security. Security was also on the deck for the time being, but a barista was there. This man called the barista to help, who didn't understand French either. So he told them in Arabic that my dad was refusing to move to let him out of the seat. The barista was flabbergasted and asked my dad why. I know Arabic, so I intervened and clarified the situation. That is, the man was keeping his bag and reserving his seat, which he told my dad is not allowed. By this time, the man has sort of climbed over my dad to go and call security, and my dad hasn't budged. My dad isn't a small man and is quite big with broad shoulders, and the sight of a tiny Frenchman climbing around him was really funny. The security came in and the guy is still feeding them part of the whole story in Arabic. When they came to ask my dad, he said, "You told me moments ago that reserving seats isn't allowed." He was keeping his bag and going out to the deck, thus reserving his seat because no one would sit down in a seat with a bag in it. The security told him he wasn't allowed to do that and removed his bag. Now my dad got up and told him that he can sit beside the window. My dad just wanted to prove a point and came and sat beside me. The man was fuming and muttering, "Camera, police," and a number of colorful French abuses, which I know because I have a French friend. Guess what? He wasn't sitting on the window seat anymore. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.